Hello everyone, my name is Hemu guys, and today we are here to discuss the Palo Alto, and I'm welcoming you all on this particular Palo Alto and F5 combo batch demo. And in today's session, we are going through with the Palo Alto demo. What are the things I will basically cover in your live classes? Everything we will see in detail. Before going into the detail, let me just tell you this particular batch on Palo Alto. I will start from 12 of Feb, and guys, it's a weekends batch, so your classes will happen Saturday and Sunday, and timing is 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. IST. This is the timing for this particular training. Your Palo Alto I will complete in 8 weeks. Guys, your last three classes basically they are of 4 hours, because I used to cover your IPsec VPN, your global protect and user ID in detail. So that's why your last three classes of 4 hours basically. Okay, so so these are the some details. Now these are the contact numbers, guys. This number belongs to me, so if you have any doubt, if you want any clarity, you can directly call or ping me using WhatsApp, or you can just call me over this number. This number belongs to Bedish sir. So if you have any doubt with regards to the F5, you can call Bedish sir. And this number belongs to Ria ma'am. So you can inquiry for any trainings related information if you want basically. Now let me tell you guys what are the things I am going to cover. So your Palo Alto training is around more than 30 plus hours basically. You will get the lifetime interview support, which means let's suppose you have your interview. In that case, you have to reach us, and I am going to take a mock interview with you basically. And even though if you have gone through some of the interviews with any organizations, right, and you have doubts there, and maybe they have asked some type of questions which you don't know, right? So for these kind of questions also, you can always reach out to us and we are going to help. You will get the lab workbook as well. You will get the lifetime recorded videos. So generally for every session, you will get the recording from our side, and these recordings you will get through our video portal. We have the video portal, and if you will see, the video portal looks like this. In this video portal, if you go into this store tab, you will able to see all the courses available here, and through the same portal you will get your video access. So it is similar to similar to YouTube basically. You can access this video portal through your laptop, even though you can also able to download the mobile app basically. Weekend classes, so this batch I will take on weekends. Even though guys, I can also help you during the session if you have any type of, if you want to discuss any issue which you are facing in your production environment, right? Or if you have any type of issue which you are facing in your lab environment, for that also I can give you one-on-one time as well. Mock interview with every students. So these are the some thing which we are going to cover in this particular training. Now let me just go through with the Palo Alto Firewall course content. What is the course content for this particular training? So let me just go through with the course content, guys. So guys, I will start discussing in your first class with platforms and architecture. And if you know, in Palo Alto, there is a very popular interview question, which is what is the SP3 architecture of Palo Alto, or what is the architecture of Palo Alto, right? What is SP3 architecture? What is single pass software and parallel processing hardware architecture, right? So this thing I am going to cover in detail along with the chip level, right? How the Palo Alto components is connected inside your Palo Alto box. What are the algorithms they will use generally to process your data? So all these things I'm going to cover. I will also help you what are the hardware models we are having for Palo Alto. What is the virtual appliance we are having for Palo Alto? Everything we will see in detail. And after I'll just move towards your single pass architecture, which is again a SP3. Then I will discuss your flow logic, which is the packet flow in your Palo Alto firewall. And guys, In this packet flow, I will cover your packet flow according to the Palo Alto PAN-OS version 10.0.0. Because you know, whatever packet flow available over the internet, it's a very old one. It's a very old one basically. So we will discuss the latest packet flow of Palo Alto. What are the new components they have introduced in the latest OS? So all these things I'm going to cover. And after it, I'll just move towards the initial configuration where we will see how we can configure the Palo Alto firewall management interface with the help of CLI, with the help of graphical user interface, right? And how we can take the console access of your Palo Alto firewall. What is the default IP address available on you on the management interface of Palo Alto? What are the default services allowed by default on your Palo Alto firewall management interface? We are going to discuss everything. How we can take the initial access of your Palo Alto system, right? How you will take the help of your field engineer, right? If you are working on a Palo Alto installation remote from any remote location, right? So I will tell this particular procedure as well. I will also discuss the configuration management in your Palo Alto firewall, means how we can basically take the backup of Palo Alto configuration. How we can basically shape the configuration. What is candidate config file? What is running config file, right? What is the management plane? What is the data plane, and how your running configuration file is load into your data plane? How your candidate config file load inside your management plane, right? All these things we are going to discuss in detail. And here, when I'll discuss this config management, that time I will also go through with the commit process. What is the commit phase 0? What is commit phase 1? What is commit phase 2, right? If there is any issue with the commit, what are the daemons we have to check, right? Which daemon involves in your commit process? How we can validate these log files, right? So all these things we will discuss in detail. Once I will done with that, I'll just move towards the next topic, which is your license management in your Palo Alto firewall. What are the license you need if you wants to enable the vulnerability protection, your anti-spyware protection and anti-virus protection in your Palo Alto firewall? What type of solution offered by Palo Alto for URL filtering? Which license you need, right? You want to go with the Bright Cloud or you want to go with the PenDB, right? I will discuss the advanced architecture of PenDB architecture as well, right? So all these things we will see. Even though I will also tell you how we can schedule the software updates, how we can manage all these things with the help of graphical user interface and with the help of CLI. Once we will done with that, here I will also go through how you can register your Palo Alto hardware appliance with the Palo Alto support portal. How you can register your virtual appliance of Palo Alto with the support portal. What are the things you have to take care? So all these things we will discuss in detail. And after I'll just move towards the account administration, where we will discuss how we can create a different user name with the password into your Palo Alto firewall. How we can restrict the access. Let's say we have some L1 engineers, L2 engineers, and L3 engineers, right? How we can restrict their level of access. How we can control the authorization in your Palo Alto firewall. How we can control the authentication in your Palo Alto firewall, right? If there is any problem, how we can validate the log file of your authority daemon basically. So all these things I'm going to discuss in your account administration. Here I will also tell you how we can integrate your Palo Alto firewall with the Radius server, and also how we can integrate our Palo Alto firewall with the LDAP server, which is your Active Directory or domain controller, and how we can utilize these particular database inside your Palo Alto firewall for different purpose basically. So we will discuss all these things in detail. How we can control the admin roles, how we can create a role for L1 engineers, L2 engineers, all these things. Once I'll done with that, I'll move towards your interface configuration. How we can configure the interfaces in your Palo Alto firewall. What is tap mode deployment in your Palo Alto firewall? What is virtual wire deployment in your Palo Alto firewall? What is layer 2 deployment? What is layer 3 deployment? What is the HA type interface in your Palo Alto firewall, right? What is the decryption mirror concept in your Palo Alto firewall? All these things I'm going to discuss. And I will tell you how we can configure the IP address, how we can create the security zones in your Palo Alto firewall with the help of CLI and with the help of graphical user interface. Then I will discuss the concept of sub interfaces in your Palo Alto firewall. And once I will done with that, I'll just move towards the DSCP settings in your Palo Alto firewall. How we can configure Palo Alto as a DSCP client. How we can configure Palo Alto as a DSCP server means we can configure the DSCP services in your Palo Alto firewall. How we can configure the Palo Alto firewall as a DSCP relay agent. So all these three combination we will see with the help of practicals. Once I'll done with that, I'll just move towards the virtual routers. In Palo Alto firewall, if you want to configure any type of routing, basically like your static routing, your dynamic routing, like your RIP, OSPF, BGP, what you have to do, we have to go through with the virtual router configuration. Let's suppose if we have a multiple department, then how we can create a multiple virtual routers and how we can allow the communication between these multiple virtual routers, right? What are the use cases here? I'm going to discuss in detail basically. Once I'll done with that, I'll just move towards the next topic, which is your security policy and net policy. And if you know, guys, your firewall is designed for doing the VPN stuff, your layer 3 to layer 4 protection, which we can achieve with the help of security policies, and your net and your layer 7 protection, right? Only these are the main 4 things which we always expect from the firewall. So guys, in your security policy and your net policy, I will discuss in detail how we can create a security policies, how we can do the security policy administration, right? How we can create a policy with the help of CLI as well. And all these stuffs I will cover in detail. And after I'll just move towards your net, where we will discuss what is source net, what is destination net, what is U-turn net, right? In destination net, we will discuss all three or four type of use cases of DNet in your Palo Alto firewall. So we will discuss these things in detail basically. Once I will done with that, I'll just move towards the most important feature of your Palo Alto firewall, which is app ID. Here, I'm going to discuss what is application identification. What is app ID overview? What is application groups and application filters? And guys, here, I will also tell you how the application or how your app ID or application identification is happened in your Palo Alto firewall. What is application signature database, right? We will discuss these things in detail. How your Palo Alto firewall doing the app identification if application is hosted on TCP port. How the app identification happens in case of if application is using the UDP port, right? All these things I will discuss in detail. Which algorithm basically is running in your Palo Alto firewall? Which algorithm will take care of these app ID tasks inside your Palo Alto? Which chip? What is the processor or chip is available in your Palo Alto firewall who will responsible for doing your app ID? Like in Palo Alto, we have a Jaguar chip. That chip used to take care of these app ID functionality there, right? So all these things we will discuss in detail. In app ID, I will also go through with the how we can, what is app ID cache basically, how this cache helps you in the app identification. Then I will go through with the content ID here. What is content identification? Means how to configure your antivirus protection profile. How we can configure the anti-spyware protection profile. How we can configure these vulnerability protection profile. How we can configure the URL filtering basically in your Palo Alto file. Even though, guys, I will try to download some antivirus files from the internet, and we will try to see if our Palo Alto firewall is able to detect that virus or not. So we will see these things in detail. We will see what is anti-spyware, how we can configure this anti-spyware. In anti-spy, I will also cover your DNS sinkhole. What is the DNS sinkhole concept in your Palo Alto firewall? Because in interview they used to ask what is DNS sinkhole. I'll show you how we can configure the vulnerability protection profile in your Palo Alto firewall, and I will try to exploit some type of vulnerabilities on my servers using the Kali Linux machine. And I will try to exploit, and we will see how Palo Alto firewall is reacting if somebody is launching like brute force attack or cross-site scripting attacks, and if somebody is trying to exploit any vulnerability, right? So we will see all these things. And after that, I'll just move towards your URL filtering. Means here we will see how to configure URL filtering in your Palo Alto firewall, how we can block the URI in your Palo Alto firewall. What is PanDB URL solution from Palo Alto? What is Bright Cloud solution? What is Bright Cloud URL filtering solution in your Palo Alto firewall, right? We will see everything. How basically your URL lookup is performed by the Palo Alto firewall. What is the procedure? What is URL cache managed in your management plane, in your data plane? All these things we will discuss in detail. Here I will also introduce what is the concept of custom URL. What is your external dynamic list, EDLs? How to integrate your servers with the help of EDL. So my Palo Alto firewall, it can fetch the some block URLs or some allowed URLs from the server. Basically with the help of EDLs we will try to achieve these things. So we will see all these things, and after that I will go towards your file blocking, how we can block the upload of your files, downloading of different file types, right? So we will see everything in detail with practicals. And after I will also explain you the wildfire operation. What is wildfire operation in your Palo Alto firewall? How Palo Alto firewall protect us from the real-time attacks? Because Palo Alto firewall used to tell they provides the 0-day protection. How you will get the 0-day protection from Palo Alto firewall using the wildfire feature. So we will see this particular feature in detail. And after that, I'll just move towards your zone protection and DOS protection profile. Means how we can protect our infrastructure from the TCP SYN flood attack. How we can protect the organization from the UDP flood attack. Or how we can protect our organization from the ICMP flood attack. If someone is doing the IP spoofing, how we can prevent the IP spoofing using the Palo Alto firewall. If someone has changed some behavior at your IPv4 header or at your TCP header, right? How we can get such kind of protection using the Palo Alto firewall. So these things I am going to cover in your zone protection and in your DOS protection class. Basically, I will launch these live attacks using the Kali Linux machine, and we will see. And after that, I'll just move towards the SSL decryption. What is SSL decryption? What is SSL handshake? I will go through with the SSL handshake in detail. I will go through with the certificate management. What is root certificate? What is intermediate certificate? What is identity certificate? Everything we will see in detail. Then we will discuss how to configure your outbound SSL decryption. How we can configure the inbound SSL decryption. What is SSH decryption? Because nowadays almost most of the attacks happens using the SSH tunnels. How we can basically protect from these SSH tunnels basically. So we will see all these things in detail. Even though I will also give you the advanced overview of your SSL outbound decryption and SSL inbound decryption in your PAN-OS, how they have implemented this particular feature inside the Palo Alto firewall. What is the concept of FPTCP segments in your SSL decryption. What is SSL engine, right? All these things we will discuss in detail, guys. Once I'll done with that, I'll just move towards the user ID, where we will see the user identification. Guys, I have seen in the production environment, for user ID, people is don't have enough information. They don't have a proper knowledge of this particular user ID feature. What they used to do, maybe if you just wants to achieve user to IP mapping, then what is the configuration you have to do? If you want to achieve the group mapping, what is the configuration you have to do? How we can do the active directory integration in your Palo Alto firewall, how we can use these groups into our security policies to allow the traffic and to deny the traffic, right? So according to scope, basically we will discuss the user ID feature in your Palo Alto firewall. We will see the active directory integration. We will see the users to IP mapping. We will see what is the concept of user ID agent. Once I'll done with this particular user ID feature, I'll just move towards your IPsec site-to-site VPN. What is IPsec site-to-site VPN? What is phase 1 and phase 2 exchange? And these exchange process, guys, we will discuss in detail. Guys, if anyone know, in phase 1, if I'm using the main mode, how many messages is exchanged in main mode? Anyone know how many messages they used to exchange in your main mode? Write on the chat. So I got the answer from Yes Tripathi and from Satya. They just said 6 messages. And in your phase 2, they exchange the 3 messages. And guys, if you know, so total they are exchanging 9 messages. Out of these 9 messages, message number 1, 2, 3, and 4. These messages are clear text. And after that, message number 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. These messages are the encrypted one, right? Guys, I will tell you how we can do the decryption of these messages using the Palo Alto firewall. In IPsec VPN, I will discuss what is the daemon involved in your Palo Alto firewall for IPsec process. Because you know, in Palo Alto firewall, there are around 5 daemons who will involve in your IPsec process. Basically, we will see what is IC manager daemon, what is crypto D daemon, what is tunnel D daemon, right? What is MP relay daemon? What are the use of these particular daemons? What is key manager daemon in your Palo Alto firewall? How they will basically how Palo Alto firewall utilize these daemons in your IPsec process. Even though I will also explain you how they used to do the Diffie-Hellman actions, how they will create your SKID, E, D, and A, right? Everything we will see in detail. Once, guys, your phase 1 and phase 2 is up, right? You remember they used to exchange the ESP messages. Then, guys, I will tell you how we can decrypt these ESP messages in your Palo Alto firewall. So, guys, in IPsec VPN, you will get entire things, how the things are happening inside your Palo Alto firewall. And also, guys, I have written here around 13 use cases of your Palo Alto firewall, and I will go through few of them in your classes. I have all these 13 use cases and I will try to cover few of them in your classes. If time permits, I will try to cover all of them in your sessions. And these are the 13 combination which is only possible in the production environment as well. Like your IPsec VPN configuration between two Palo Alto devices when they have both have the static IP address, but we are using here pre-shared key. And after we will see how we can use the certificate for that. And instead of preset key, now we will use the certificate for the authentication purpose. If we have a overlapping networks, means 10.0.0.0/8, 10.0.0.0/8. This subnet I am having at my site A. And let's suppose site B is also having the same subnet. Maybe this is my network and this is customer network, right? And two organizations, they can have the same range of IPs from the private range, right? Now, how you will configure the IPsec site-to-site VPN in this particular scenario? It's a very good use case, guys, and in production environment, people used to have this particular use case. Then we will see if we have a like if one Palo Alto firewall have the IP address which is not static, it's a dynamic IP, means IP address is not fixed. Now, how we will configure the IPsec tunnel in that particular scenario, right? If your Palo Alto firewall behind the net device, then how we will configure the VPNs, right? So I have covered almost all the use cases of your IPsec VPN here. And we will also see how we can configure the IPsec, IPsec VPN between Palo Alto and Cisco ASA. Okay, so we will see this particular integration as well. Once we will done with that, I'll just move towards the Palo Alto Firewall GlobalProtect. In GlobalProtect, I will go through with the GlobalProtect connection flow. This connection flow is most important, guys. If you know the connection flow, you can able to troubleshoot any issue in your GlobalProtect. If you don't know the connection flow, you will not able to touch the GlobalProtect related issues, guys. Then after I will discuss GlobalProtect connection methods. What are the connection method we will be having in your GlobalProtect? How we can configure the user logon? How we can configure the on demand method? What is pre-logon then on demand? What is pre-logon then user logon? What are the use cases and on which scenarios we will use these particular methods? So I will cover everything in detail. And even though, guys, in your GlobalProtect, I will also explain you how we can check the debugs of different daemons, because you know in GlobalProtect there are multiple daemons involved in that particular process. We will see how we can take the capture of your REST MGR daemon, how we can take the capture of your AppWeb3 daemon inside your Palo Alto Firewall for GlobalProtect, how we can take the daemon at your key MGR daemon, then SSL MGR daemon, right? How we can take the captures and what are the things we have to analyze, everything we will see in detail. Once we will done with that, I'll just move towards the syslog configuration in your Palo Alto Firewall, NetFlow configuration in your Palo Alto Firewall. What are the log ties? How we can optimize the dashboard of your Palo Alto Firewall, basic logging, reporting, and I will give you one video of Panorama as well, the overview of Panorama basically. And if somebody want, we have a dedicated training on Panorama. Once we will done with that, and after it, I'll just move towards the high availability. What is active passive high availability in your Palo Alto Firewall? How we can configure the active passive high availability? And here, guys, I will also explain you the advanced architecture of your high availability. What is the use of your HA agent daemon in your HA process? What is the system daemon, or what is the work of sysd daemon in your HA process? What is the daemon called pen DHA, and how it will basically helps you to maintain your HA related task, right? Everything we will see in detail along with the troubleshooting, along with the advanced architecture, how your Palo Alto Firewall 1 will communicate with Palo Alto Firewall 2, how we can enable the encryption between these Palo Alto devices if they are communicating with each other, right? So everything we will see in detail. What is capability messages? What is hello messages? What is keep alive messages, right? Everything we will see here. I will also go through with the active high availability, how we can configure active HA. What is floating IP HA lab? What is R float share HA lab? How we can configure the mixed mode HA lab, right? And after that, guys, I also used to have some troubleshooting webinars in every 45 days. So guys, at that time, I will invite you on these webinars and I will go through what is packet filter in your Palo Alto Firewall. What is packet capture concept in your Palo Alto Firewall? What is flow basic concept in your Palo Alto? How we can run the flow basics to basically analyze all the logs, to analyze all the process of your packets inside the Palo Alto Firewall or inside the PAN-OS. And after that, I will also explain you how we can run the TCP dump command to capture the management interface traffic. So these are the guys some topics which I am going to discuss, and I will also give you guys one video on Palo Alto Firewall management plane interval. So that's around 4 hours of video where you will get everything which you wants to know with regards to the management plane of your Palo Alto Firewall. So guys, these are the things which I am going to cover in your Palo Alto Firewall. Now guys, let me just go through with the what are the labs I'm going to use. So guys, in your around guys your 60% classes I can able to deliver using this particular lab topology where I have my Palo Alto Firewall. I have one interface Ethernet 1x1 which is connecting with the internet. Here I have one Kali Linux machine, and I will use this machine to launch the attack, and I have one router here as well. And guys, from this cloud I am getting the internet, so my Palo Alto Firewall will connect with the real internet. And I have Ethernet 1x2 which is my inside interface, and I have one Windows machine and one Linux machine, and we will try to initiate the traffic from these machines. So these two system I will use as a test PC. I have a dedicated segment for the management interface or management traffic from the Palo Alto Firewall. And I have a one dedicated interface Ethernet 1x3, which I will use as a DMZ interface. And here I will put two servers or three servers basically, where I will configure telnet, SHS, HTTPS, and HTTP services. And we will try to test how we can allow the access of these services from outside with the help of destination net, with the help of source net, right? All these things we are going to cover. So this is the first lab topology which I'm going to use. And after that, I will use this particular lab topology as well. This is the redundancy lab topology. And guys, this lab topology will help us to do the routing related task, how we can configure the routing in your inside network, in your DMZ network, and in your outside network. And also using this topology, we will also discuss what is the concept of policy based forwarding. What is the concept of your equal cost multipathing? What is the concept of path monitoring? So these particular labs also I will do using this particular lab topology. So this is the second lab topology which I'm going to use on my lab on my lab sessions. And after that, I will use this particular lab topology to perform your active passive and active active HA related practicals. So your high availability related practicals we will do in this particular lab. So this is the third lab topology which I'm going to use. And after that, we will have one more lab topology. Where is that? This one. And guys, this particular lab topology I will use to configure your VPN related task or your VPN related labs. Here I have my one firewall in head office, one firewall, one Palo Alto Firewall in branch office 1, and one Palo Alto Firewall in branch office 2. And I do have one Cisco ASA firewall as well. Let's say it's a customer firewall or customer end firewall. And we will do all type of VPN related labs on this particular lab topology. So guys, these are the lab topology which I am going to use in my classes. Okay, now let me just go through with one of the most important topic of your Palo Alto Firewall, like what is the packet flow in your Palo Alto Firewall. I will just guys give you the overview. Okay, I will not go in detail, just remember. Because to complete the entire packet flow of your Palo Alto, I needs minimum 2 hours time, minimum time of 2 hours. But here I just have around 20 to 25 minutes. So I'll just go give you the overview of it. So before starting with the Palo Alto Firewall packet flow, let's try to understand the component of your Palo Alto Firewall. Okay. So guys, generally in Palo Alto Firewall, what you have, every device, it used to have this particular interface stack. Let me use the red color here. I hope guys my screen is visible to everyone. My whiteboard is visible. Yes, no on the chat. Hello. Okay, cool. So guys, now generally what used to happen, every device or in your Palo Alto 5, it has a interface stack here. These are the interfaces which we will be having in your Palo Alto firewall. Interface start with Ethernet 1x1, 1x2, 1x3, 1x4, 1x5, 1x6, 1x7, and 1x8. Let's suppose I have around 8 interfaces on my Palo Alto firewall. So these are the interfaces I'm having. And after that, guys, these interfaces, they usually have a connection with one of the hardware or one of the chip is known as Marvel chip. So we have a Marvel chip in low end boxes. In high end boxes, you have a Petra chip. Now this Petra chip you will be seeing on the hardware boxes which supports the fiber port, SFP plus ports basically. And all these particular interfaces, they have a connection with this particular chip. And after that, Palo Alto 5 will now have one more chipset here. That chip name is Liger in low end boxes, and in high end boxes, guys, you will see the Tiger chip. These are the name of this particular chip, and this chip set is known as network processor. This processor is also known as session offloader. So this is your network processor, and network processor can process the traffic from layer 2 to layer 4 only. It can able to understand your MAC address, your IP address, and your layer 4 information, which is your TCP and UDP. And guys, these two chips, they are connected in this way. And guys, these connection, they are the internal connection inside your Palo Alto firewall is known as ZOI links. These are the high bandwidth links, 20 Gbps links. And after that, this Tiger chip, it has a connectivity with one of the chip inside your Palo Alto firewall is known as Octeon chip. This chip is also known as data plane CPU. Guys, this is your DP CPU or data plane CPU who will do the packet processing. And this Liger and Octeon chip, they will also have a connectivity with Joy links. And after that, guys, we do have a one more chip here. This chip is known as Ocelot in low end boxes. In high end boxes, guys, you will see generally Jaguar chip. And they have a connectivity like this. Now, guys, this Jaguar chip and network processor, they are also known as FPGA, Field Programmable Gateway Array. This is also FPGA. This chip is also known as signature match processor. Means your layer 7 task like your URL filtering, your antivirus protection, your anti-spyware protection means all the tasks of your content ID and your app ID is done by the Jaguar chip. On this Jaguar chip, there are the two algorithms. First algorithm is known as AHO and the second algorithm is known as DFA. So guys, your app ID is done by the DFA algorithm, and your content ID done by the AHO algorithm. Now this AHO algorithm is also replaced with the algorithm called PScan. So guys, these are two algorithms who will take care of your content identification inside the Palo Alto firewall. So guys, this is the some internal architecture of your Palo Alto firewall. Now, let's suppose I have a setup like this. So I have my firewall here. This is my Palo Alto firewall. I have one PC here. This is PC1. Let's suppose this PC have IP address 10.1.1.70. Firewall have IP address 10.1.1.250. And let's suppose this interface is known as inside interface, Ethernet 1x2. This firewall have a one more interface here, Ethernet 1x1. Here we have an internet, ISP, and this ISP have a connect with one of the server over the internet. Let's suppose that server have the IP address which is 200.1.1.1, and we have hosted it. This server is running on TC port 443. Okay, now on this interface we have the IP address, let's suppose, which is 151.7.250. Now guys, if you know, if we have a setup like this, now how your Palo Alto firewall is going to do the packet processing? So your packet processing, how Palo Alto 5 do the packet processing? Let's try to understand first. So what used to happen, guys, when any Palo Alto firewall receive the packet, what it used to do? It used to process the packet at the ingress stage level. At the ingress stage. And after that, Palo Alto firewall send this packet towards the flow lookup. This is the second packet processing stage. Then the third packet processing stage is your slow path. Slow path is also known as session setup stage. Then it will forward the packet towards the fast path. Then your packet goes towards the app engine, which is your app identification. And after that, your packet will go towards the content identification, content ID. And the seventh thing, your packet go towards the forwarding stage. Okay, these are the seventh packet processing stage we will be having in your Palo Alto firewall. And if you want to see these stages, and if I'll show you this diagram, this is the little bit old diagram, guys. You can see this diagram, guys, visible to everyone on my screen. Yes, no, on the chat. So you can see when Palo Alto firewall receive the packet, where it will put that packet into the ingress stage. And after that, this packet is going towards the firewall session lookup, which is also known as flow lookup. This is the second check. If there is no session, then your packet is going towards the slow path, which is your session setup stage. This is the third stage. And after that, your packet coming for layer 2 to layer 4 firewall processing. This is your fast path here. Then your application identification. And after that, your content identification. And once this content identification is done, your packet is going towards the forwarding stage or egress stage. So guys, these are the packet processing stage of your Palo Alto firewall, right? Now, what used to happen, guys, when this PC, he will initiate any traffic towards this server. This server is hosted on, guys, which TCP port. So guys, in case of TCP, what used to happen? What is the first packet? In case of TCP, guys, what is the first packet? Right? So what? This PC initiate one packet which is known as TCP SYN request. Now, this TCP SYN request received by the Palo Alto Firewall. Now, Palo Alto Firewall will start the packet processing. So how it will start the packet processing for SYN request? What it will do? It will first put this packet at the ingress stage level. And after that, my Palo Alto Firewall do the flow lookup. Guys, is because it's a first packet, so generally firewall is don't have any kind of connections, right? So what, now it will send the packet towards the slow path. Then from the slow path packet come to your fast path, and after that your packet directly go into the forwarding stage. That's how your SYN is processed, right? Why, guys, this SYN request will not go through the app ID or content ID? Because in TCP SYN packet, we don't have anything at layer 7. Layer 7 data is not available in your SYN packet. So that's why it will not go into your app engine and content engine. It will bypass these two engines basically. Just remember. It will only, the SYN request is only go into ingress stage, flow lookup, slow path or session setup stage, then fast path, and after that the forwarding stage. This is how the SYN request is processed by the firewall. And after that, once it will done with the processing, what it will do? It will forward this request towards the server. Now, this server will give the reply. So guys, now in this reply, what is the packet we will receive from the server side? It's a TCP SYN plus ACK message. Now this ACK message received by the firewall. Now firewall again start processing this request. So how it will do that? It will process at the ingress stage. Then flow lookup. Guys, is this packet go through with the session setup stage or not? What you will think? Because guys, Palo Alto is a stateful firewall, because it has already created the session into the first packet. So what it will bypass your slow path here, and it will directly jump into the first path, and after that forwarding stage. So that's how it will going to process your second packet. And once the processing is done, it will forward this packet here. And after that, now we will receive the third packet, which is TCP ACK. Now this TCP ACK is also processed in similar way, like your SYN plus ACK is processed. Ingress stage, then flow lookup, then your fast path, and after that your forwarding stage. And your SYN is processed, it will send here. And now TCP three-way handshake is completed, guys. Now this server is hosted on TCP port number 443. So what is the next packet? Next packet we will expect, which is, because now see here till here TCP three-way handshake is completed. So the session is now established state. Session is established till here, and now they will start the SSL handshake, because that website is hosted on HTTPS, right? So the first packet is here now, client hello. Now this client hello, guys, how it will do the processing? It will send that client hello request, ingress stage, flow lookup, slow path it will bypass. What it will send to ingress stage, flow lookup, flow is already there. It will bypass the slow path. Packet will go to into the first path, and now this time it will go into app ID, content ID, then forwarding. Because now this client hello has some layer 7 data. Guys, that's how it will do the packet processing. Now what are the checks it used to do into your ingress stage, forwarding lookup, silo path, fast path, app ID, how it will do these things, guys, we will discuss in your live class. Because packet flow is a bit lengthy process, because here when it will create the session, that time so many things involved, right? It will use the 6 tuple information, then it will create the flow key, and after it will store these flow key into the Palo Alto database, which is known as MongoDB database, which is also known as session table or flow table, right? So many things are there. There is a proper life of your session basically. So guys, generally what I used to explain these details using this particular diagram. Everything is there in detail, guys. What are the stages, then how your packet is going to process by the Palo Alto firewall, how it will do the layer 2, layer 3, and layer 4 parsing, everything in detail. Then how it will start the flow lookup, right? How it will do the flow lookup for ICMP packet, IPsec, GRE. So many things are there. Okay, so all these things we are going to discuss in your live classes, guys, because in this particular demo class, these things sometimes becomes very complex to complete. So that's it, guys, for this particular session. Again, let me just go through. This is, guys, my YouTube channel. If you really wants to understand, and if you really wants to know about the training, how I used to deliver, go through with these videos where you will get the idea how you used to deliver the Palo Alto and Panorama training. Here you will get the Panorama related stuff. And if you will go through with this second playlist, here I have provided some Palo Alto advanced tech troubleshooting training as well. So you can just check out these videos, how I used to deliver the things you will get here. I also have a SD-WAN training, so you can watch these SD-WAN videos. I have uploaded few of them. Then Palo Alto in Hindi is available. Palo Alto and Panorama interview question series also there, guys. So you can also you check that particular series. And I have also uploaded few videos on Palo Alto Firewall basics to advanced PCNSE level here. So you can check out this particular YouTube channel, and you will get all the details basically. YouTube channel is very easy, guys. If you will go into Google, and if you will type youtube.com, then Sianets, and you will get this particular channel. This particular channel is belongs to me, and you will get all the videos here. So let me just give you the link again on the chat box so you guys can just check it out. That's it, guys. This batch I'm starting from 12 of Feb. So if anyone interested, you can contact us on these numbers. You can take the screenshot of these numbers, and you can always reach out to us. The first number is belongs to me, so you can reach out to me directly on this number if you have any doubts, anything. That's it, guys, for today's. Thank you. Now let me just stop the recording.